Hey Avish, how are you?
Hi, sir. Good to see you again.
Yeah, man. I like the patriotism. You're wearing the South African
Thanks.
shirt. Yeah, man. Okay, speaking of South Africa, let's get down on it. Okay, so what were your thoughts on Pakistan's win over us in general?
Yeah, man. Look, interesting series, eh? Um, I guess the coaching staff knew right from the beginning that the IPL players were going to go after the third match. Sorry, after the second match. So
Hmm.
um, the youngsters came in that third game, and they did perform. They did perform.
Hmm.
Uh, if you look at the batsmen, guys like Milan and Verena, they stepped up. They stepped up big time.
Yeah,
My
yeah,
only
especially
concern here
Bahrain.
was, yeah, I mean,
Hmm.
there is some talent there, man. My one concern here is the bowling. The bowling
Oh.
department was looking at
Hmm.
percent, definitely. Um,
Yeah.
if we go back to that, if we go back to the ping day and SA posting 341, that was a formidable total. Let's be
Hmm.
honest. And
Yeah.
Pakistan coming into bat, and Nokia was in his menacing mode, and he took those wickets in the middle of the innings that really swung the momentum in the Proteas' favor. But nobody, I would think, nobody would have expected that onslaught from Fakar towards the end. It was one of the most incredible ODI innings that I've seen, and it actually in a way had me on the edge for a large part
Hmm.
of that game because he was. I mean, once he hit three figures, he was timing the ball so sweetly. I mean, he was hitting sixes. I think he hit three of Shamsi's over, and these sixes were not just clearing the ropes; they were actually flying over the stands. These were humongous sixes that were being hit, and yeah, I mean, an element of controversy towards the end there, but
Hmm.
we shouldn't take anything away from the run out that Markram actually, managed to
Hmm.
execute there. It was unbelievable fielding, and it's something that the game needed at that point because you just never know what was going to happen if Fakar actually. I mean, it's
Yeah.
crazy to say this. If he went past 200, he could have taken this game away from the Proteas, and for
Yeah.
a large part of this, Proteas were actually bossing it. I still think it would have been a tall order, but I mean, who knows? This is a funny game, eh? This is really a funny game, and
Yeah, I mean, there were like controversies. Like, I mean, you know what that Bavuma catch? He tried to catch it, but then the ball hit his hat. That was 5 runs. Pakistan were denied, and then that run out was caught to the third umpire. I know Sean Pollock wasn't happy about it, so that's 10 runs already. So anything could have happened in that match. But yes, I mean, I think we probably would have scraped it, but those are like things people have to be careful of in the future.
well, I can tell you one thing. I think the batsmen have been really, really upset and dismayed if
Hmm.
the bowlers didn't manage to defend 341 at the Wanderers. I mean, that would have been
Yeah.
crazy because
And
I,
also,
I
we had
think
it actually in the bag. We should have actually won that easily, but I think
absolutely.
we probably,
Uh,
yeah.
look. You're going to get those innings now and then where
Hmm.
uh, there's going to be an individual score that's
Hmm.
that's pure class and quality, and that's what we got from Fakar. I mean, that bat of his was like a magic wand. I mean, everything that he was actually premeditating was coming off, and everything the
Yeah.
Proteas were trying to do get him out wasn't coming off. So you got to accept
Hmm.
it. It's a give and take of the game. But yeah,
Hmm.
we should have won that one quite comfortably, as you're saying at the end. At 205 for seven, I mean, a lot of people watching that game in a stadium, or I mean, most of the fans were watching this game at home. I mean, that was a done deal. At 205 to seven, a done deal. I mean, you're looking at 10, 11 runs and over. But I mean, Fakar brought it to such a stage there where, Pakistan were actually dead and buried, but he brought it to a stage where they had a fighting chance of winning that game, which was actually
Yeah.
scary to think about. Absolutely
Yeah.
scary to think
But I
about.
think
Yeah,
but I think when you have nothing to lose, I guess you just go for it, and if it goes off, it goes off. And he did deserve to be man of the series. And then Babar Azam, which people say is the next version of Kohli, he also had a good series. So I think but I think Babar Azam, I think he's a bit more calmer than Kohli, but I think in talent-wise, I think he could be the next Kohli. What do you think?
amazing player. Really amazing player. I mean, this guy oozes class. I mean, if you look at his the way the way he actually builds an innings. I mean, those strokes are actually scintillating to watch at times. And he the one thing about him, when he gets past 50, he really makes the opposition pay. So if you want to get Baba Azam out, you got to get him out early because he really cashes in. He really cashes in. Once he gets past 50, he really makes you pay as a bowling attack. But this guy is class, man. I mean, uh, if you had to take him out of that middle order, there's definitely a bit of holes there that
Hmm.
we've actually seen in the series as well. The Pakistan
Hmm.
middle order hasn't been that strong, haven't fired that much, but that top three, the Fakar and Imam ul Haq and um,
Yes.
Babar.
Hmm.
Look, that's a good top. That's as good a top three that any team in the world would want. I think any team in the world would probably would take at least two of those players, if not three of them. Barring India probably because they've got Dhawan, they've got Rohit, and they've got Kohli. So
Yeah.
obviously India is probably the exception, but any other team would
Yeah, man.
probably love to have those three in the lineup. And Baba is just growing from strength to strength. He's just getting better and better. And I would think the captaincy as well has actually elevated his form to an extent. Where he's actually he's become a run machine. Let's put it that way. He's become a run machine in ODI cricket. I mean, this guy can play all formats, and a player that can play all formats is definitely a class player. He's a class player, and yeah, I mean, his adaptability to the game is incredible, and his awareness as well. I mean, he's match awareness. He's amazing, absolutely amazing. So
Yeah,
yeah,
man. I'm
you're
actually okay.
looking at one
Sorry.
of the.
Okay.
It's tough for the Proteas at the moment, hey, because
Hmm.
you're coming up against one of the great batsmen in the world at the moment, one of the best bat players in the world at the moment.
Hmm.
I think in the top five, if you talk about the Fab Five of, you know, uh, Williamson, Smith,
Kohli,
Kohli, and
Root, maybe.
Baba, Root. Yes, yes, yes. Sorry, and Joe Root as well. So you talk about that Fab Five. I think
Yeah.
he deserves to be in the top five without a doubt. If not the best player at the moment in ODI cricket. So yeah, phenomenal player.
Okay, it's interesting. Um, okay, I'm just thinking now. Yeah, if you looked at the two teams before the series, we have to be honest with ourselves. I think Pakistan were probably favorites coming into this one day series because I think they did have the better bowling attack, and then also, but now one thing that kind of puzzles me because of this whole IPL situation, maybe they probably shouldn't have let the main players that played because now what it does do, you have these guys such as Farane and Malan coming in on the decider, which is a lot of pressure on its own, and then they didn't even play any of the first two. So maybe it would have been probably just better to have just let the main players just leave for India at the very beginning. So at least, fine, they would have still had a quarantine, but my point is that it feels like a bit of a disadvantage toward the one that had played the third match, and then I don't know if you feel the same way.
Uh, Look, I do feel that probably if you look at both bowling attacks, yeah, you'd say to an extent, Pakistan are a little bit more experienced. But I mean, look at a guy like Nokia. I mean, he stepped up. this series.
Mm. Mm.
He's been phenomenal with the ball in hand. A real man with his pace and bounce. So he's a real weapon, and I can see him getting better and better. And it looks like Rabada at the moment. Rabada, there was a time, for a few seasons that you almost got the feeling that he was carrying this attack, But now you've got Nokia that's growing game after game, and he's still a relatively young player in international cricket.
Yeah.
So this guy's growing from strength to strength, and it's taking a bit of the weight off Rabada. But
this is
what
good.
It's also done, having these two firepowers. These two speedsters up, that's trying to complement each other. It's made that third bowler go for plenty in the series, and you've seen it. A guy like Ngidi, when I look at Ngidi now, I feel he's like dropped so much of pace. He's not that same pacing a guy that we've seen, and his breakthrough season when he took a five wicket haul against India in 2018. He doesn't seem like the same bowler, and I can understand that, he's had his injury issues, but you know what, dude, there comes to a point, international cricket is a tough game. It's a tough game, and you want to pick your best attack, your attack that complements each other. And I feel the Proteas are just battling with that third seamer at the moment, that third change, because Petlukwaya, he had his issues with injury as well, and a bout of COVID, and he went for plenty in the series. So fair enough, Nokia bowled beautifully in the series. To me, he's a standout bowler from both sides, because I think he took 7 wickets in 2 games. It's phenomenal. But the reason why Proteas were letting Pakistan back in this game time and time again was their third change bowler was not the best, Their third seamer.
And I think Keshav did a good job for his first match after so long in the third ODI. It's a shame he didn't play at the beginning.
I was just coming to Keshav, and it's good that you brought this up, because if you look at Keshav and coming into the third game, and let's be honest, Pakistan were favourites for that third ODI, and I was disappointed in the result, no doubt about it. But what was encouraging to see was the fight of youngsters, because if I look at that game, it all came down to a matter of 2 overs where Pakistan scored those runs, and the Proteas didn't get there. But let's be honest. I can't fault the shot that Verena played towards the end, because my God, that innings was special. That innings was special. And Yanuman up the order, he was so classy. The way he was hitting the ball. This guy is a superb player, and a super player, fast bowler. Or fast bowling. One question mark that you're probably hindering here is, I think his ability against spin, and I know he did miss a straight one, and he got out. But if you're going to make 70 odd, you're already setting a platform for your team. And I think there was one shot that he played off Hassan Ali that bisected mid wicket, and it was such a sensational shot. He used his wrists and he just plugged that ball, through to the boundary ropes. It was amazing. Excellent.
Yeah, man.
Player.
It was who? Sorry. Okay.
Nenman Malan. Yeah, and for him to come back. My question mark here is with Markram, and my feeling of Markram at the moment, he's got that James Vince about him. James Vince will score that very stylish. He looked good for 20 or 30, and then he'll get himself out. So he's probably like an unfulfilled talent at the moment. So Markram was looking good in every innings in the series. Let's be honest. He was hitting boundaries, he was looking in control, and then there's a delivery that gets him out. And what's the frustrating thing? It's not necessarily the good deliveries that are getting him out. It's actually some ordinary deliveries, and he's actually getting himself out to a extent, because he's like fully aware of what his role is in the team, And I think a guy like Markram should probably drop as an anchor, And
I was just thinking of that,
because The way I see it at the moment, I think Yanman's innings has really, put him under a lot of pressure. And I don't know, maybe they might give him another series. But to be honest with you, is Cricket South Africa going to like be patient with him? I think not. To be honest with you,
Yeah.
the series going to actually.
It's a difficult one, actually. It's a difficult one because I think what you brought in was important about the anchor role. Because I think if he does the anchor role, it's not like he has to just get singles. He can also get the boundary, but he doesn't have to be so impulsive, so much in a rush. Just take your time. There are some good hitters down the order. Not like we are that bad.
I mean, I just want to say, he's such a classy player. He's shown it in Test cricket as well. He's got all the shots.
Yeah.
The way I see it now, there's competition for that second spot. I mean, nobody's going to drop the cock. The cock is going to be there. So it's all about finding a cock. So, Milan, he took his chance. I mean, the one opportunity that he got, he scored a 70 odd, and I can't fault him for that at all. I can only fault the middle order, which we'll come to now. But I mean, you look, if Markham scored 100, that would have just set up the Proteas for that game, because I think that total was well within their grasp of chasing down.
Yeah.
And for a large part of that innings, I mean, Pakistan were looking rattled. We are looking rattled. And then we're going to come to the middle order, which just when you thought this game was over, 140 for 5, Verena and Petlukayo built that sensational partnership for 108. That was a real counter-attacking partnership from those two players. And I'm so impressed with this guy, Verena. I mean, I've been a fan of him before.
Yeah, I can see that. Yeah.
I mean, this kid reminds me so much of AB.
Oh.
The way he comes out, and he's so fearless. And I think the one thing that sets him apart is his temperament, his mental side. He's actually very confident, and he doesn't seem like he goes in there would like in any pressure situation. I mean, like there's a lot of pressure on his shoulders. He just goes and plays natural game, which is what you want to see from your number 5 or number 6, and keep the game moving. So to me, a guy like Klaassen, I think his place is a bit in jeopardy, because he really needs to buckle up and start scoring some runs. Or I think Verena is a perfect replacement at number 5. And then you've got you've got a Protea side. I would say the perfect side at the moment. You've got de Kock, and I would say my team would probably consist of de Kock, Milan opening with de Kock, because I think both players will complement each other, right hand, left hand combination. And Milan is also fluent. He can go through the gears if he builds an innings. And then Bavuma can stay at number 3, and you got Rassi at number 4. It was unfortunate that Rassi actually didn't play that last game because he was in fine form as well. So I think that hampered the Proteas as well in the chase, because Rassi is a guy that's got such he's got such good shoulders, and he's not a guy that's going to throw his wicket away. He's got an amazing temperament for the game, and he always puts value on his wicket. So Rassi at number 4, and big question mark on Klaassen, because Klaassen has had a good series. I know he scored runs against Australia in the past, so they probably give him one more series to prove himself. But if he doesn't make the cut, then Verena is going to slot in there quite easily, And then you got Muller at number 6. I mean, you're talking about Keshav, and Keshav bowled beautifully in that final game, and it was good tactics on Bavuma as well, to bring him on the way at the moment that he brought him on. I think his tactics towards the end of the game was a bit questionable. Bowling spin for that long, and I mean bowling spin in the 49th over is actually criminal in a way, when batsmen are just trying to line you up and hit you on the ground. So,
I think Hassan's explosion definitely helped Pakistan. Otherwise, I think it did look like they would have definitely underscored, and I think we would have had all that momentum chasing. So I think Hassan deserves some credit for that explosion at the end.
I mean, it's unbelievable. I mean, we're talking about a result here, and that result actually was determining those 2 overs, the final 2 overs of the game, where I think the Proteas went for plenty. I think last 4 overs went for about 60, 60 plus,
Hmm.
64, 65 runs.
Yeah. And the momentum had definitely swung in their favor because I think
And then,
from that situation, yeah,
yeah,
we were looking
look,
pretty much, yeah.
it was a game that ebbed and flowed, no doubt about it. I mean, you couldn't really say that the Proteas were out of it when Verena and Katukaia were batting, and Verena
Hmm.
looked so solid, and he was hitting the ball
Hmm.
so sweetly. It was a real special knock. But
Hmm.
Keshav, I think deserves a spot in this ODI side, definitely, because
Yeah.
I think he bowled with excellent control, and he's a wicket taker, you know. And I mean, just picture Nokia and Keshav bowling in tandem. I mean, Nokia is hitting hitting the pitch hard and troubling the batsman, and then you got Keshav on the other end, they're controlling the run rate, and making it difficult for the batsman to
Yeah.
score. So I think that's a formidable bowling combo nation to have in the middle overs as well. So Keshav
Yeah.
definitely he has a lot of balance to the side, and he deserves an extended run. I'm not taking anything away from Shamsi. I mean, we all know what a good bowler Shamsi is. He's got that quality, but I think Keshav, in terms of his all-round skills, I think that would definitely help in an ODI game where you probably want you probably want 9 out of 11 batsmen to be able to hold a bat.
Hmm.
So I think the more batting you have down the order, that's actually going to help you, because number 8 is also a very important position in ODI cricket. You've got to have a
Yeah.
number runs, maybe quick 20 or 30.
Yeah,
I mean,
man.
that's
Yeah. Actually,
all
I've
you expect from.
forgotten about. Yeah, I've forgotten. Today we're actually doing T20s as well today. My mind was actually on IPL,
Yeah,
but I realized that we're also playing T20s today. I just saw it now on the fixture
yes,
list.
correct. So that's the
So what
reason
are
why
your
I'm not sure if I.
I think Pakistan are the favorites heading into this T20 series because we are so depleted of players going to IPL and then injuries to Bavuma and so forth. So I think if Pakistan don't win this series, I think they'll be ruining this opportunity. Who would have thought Pakistan can do the double on us?
Yeah, look, I mean, it's an interesting one, eh? It's really an interesting one because you look at those IPL players, they've obviously gone, but in a
Hmm.
way, it's actually a blessing in disguise because it gives the spectators to get a chance to see these youngsters in action. You know,
Hmm.
the like speaking about the likes of Milan, the likes of Arena, and see their temperament. You know,
Yeah.
and I'm not sure if Pakistan would be happy with that favorites tag if they actually play well as favorites. I think Pakistan's side they're a much better side when they're the underdogs. You know,
Hmm. Hmm.
much better. They're very unpredictable side as well because you're not sure what Pakistan side are going to pitch up. So yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, if you look at it on paper, you'd obviously taint them as favorites. But don't write off this Proteas side. They
Yeah.
probably want to get one over these guys, man. Look pretty determined. It's been a tough couple of months. Let's be honest, building a side, and I think we're going to miss Timber as well today because he's obviously injured and he's not going to partake in the series. Rassi, not too sure on Rassi. Hopefully he can make it, but the injury wasn't looking too good the other day as well. So Klaassen, I'd love to see Verena in the side. I'd love to see Verena in the side,
I'm sure he'll be. I'm sure he'll be.
and I think Verena in the side gives the Proteas a chance of winning.
Hmm.
Definitely. I mean, just having
Yeah.
Verena in the side gives the Proteas a chance of winning. I think the most
Yeah.
important thing is the bowling combinations, right? And I don't have a problem if they play two spinners. If they play Keshav and they play Shamsi, I got no issues with that because I think they both can obviously hold an end. And it goes to show in T20 cricket the slow bowlers are always the ones that are going to take wickets. So
Hmm.
I think more overs of spin is really going to help the Proteas in this game. Yeah, and let's see how it goes. It'll be an interesting one.
Yeah, man. So if you're ready, we shall now get into the IPL now. The very first match against Mumbai and RCB, your team won. by 2 wickets. And Harshal, a surprise package. I never heard much about him, and he picked up 5 wickets against Mumbai, one of my favorites. And I know Michael Vaughan's favorite as well, but that's an issue for another time. So what were your thoughts on that match?
First of all, I'm absolutely relieved that RCB got over the line. Absolutely relieved. I mean, this game was this was an unbelievable game to kickstart the tournament. Uh, if you look at Mumbai score, batting, bowling first, RCB restricted them to 159, and for halfway into that innings, you would have thought Mumbai are actually destined for 180, 190 because they were batting quite well, and with a run rate rollicking along. But I mean, wow, what an inspired spell by Harsha at the end there. Unbelievable. And I actually thought he was going to get his hat trick, but wow, that collapse from Mumbai really didn't do them much favors in the end, because I think they were 20, 30 runs short of a winning
Yeah, I
total.
think Rohit Sharma said that. Yeah.
Absolutely. But I mean, Mumbai is Mumbai.
They're going to fight tooth and nail with whatever they got. And that's exactly what they did. But that RCB innings started off a little bit cautious, but they got into it. But towards the middle overs, there was a bit of hiccup. It was from 105 for 2 to 100, and it was 103. I think it was 102 for 2, and then it became 105 for 4. So there was a bit of a collapse there. But I mean, I can't speak. I've spoken time and time again about this man here, and he's an absolute genius of the modern day game.
ABD. I mean, what an innings from this guy!
Yes.
Unbelievable. I mean, the way he constructed this innings. I mean, he just read this game. He just read this chase to the T. I mean, absolutely smashed Chahar to all parts of the ground. Chahar. He took him out of the attack, and then that over from Bolt as well towards the end, the dead end, when he took out, I think it was 18 or 19 of that over. That actually swung the momentum in RCB's favor, no doubt. But I think the one shot that really impressed me was the shot of Bumrah. I mean, Bumrah was going for the Yorker there, and he almost dug this Yorker out and he hit it for 4. Absolutely amazing shot from AB. He's still pure class, and for a large part, I just feel RCB are just over relying on him for
being over relying on him for a long time. And but he comes up with the goods. He always comes up with the goods, no doubt about it. He never lets the team down, especially in chases. And that was AB's game, no doubt about it. That game was set up for AB. And it was a nerve-wracking finish in the end. I didn't manage to see the entire game because I stuff, but I managed to see the last spurt of the game, and wow, I think it was more relief than anything else for RCB to get over the line, because if they didn't get over the line, I think they would have been really slammed for it, because I mean, looking at that final over as well from South African born Marco Jansen. I mean, this kid's got real talent, man. I mean, I look at his height, and I mean, there's something special about this guy,
Yeah.
And he almost pulled it off. He almost pulled it off. Let's not forget, he almost pulled it off, and it was off the last ball that Harshal, and it was fitting that Harshal actually ended this game, because I mean, he bowled a beautiful spell in that 20th over as well. So I mean, I think on the balance of it, probably RCB deserved to win this game. And I know you spoke about Mumbai. They always have been poor starters, notoriously poor starters in IPLs, and I think this is like the 9th or 10th season now that they haven't won their first opening match. But
I think it's part of their formula. They lose the first match and then they stand to win the tournament. So if they had won, it would have been a bit weird, because no one's actually used to them ever winning the first match. In fact, I think people don't mind them losing the first match. It's part of the system. Lose a couple of matches and then win the tournament.
Well, I just hope what you're saying doesn't really happen,
because I think it'll be nice to have a new winner this year.
Yeah,
and hopefully
KKR.
TB. But
I mean, SCB,
they strengthened their side quite well this season.
Mm-hmm.
They brought in a few, good
additions to the side.
No.
A guy like I think Maxwell hasn't been showing his potential for a long time in the IPL, but
Yeah, he
yesterday was
batted
a
well
very
yesterday. Yeah.
yeah, I mean, very important knock from him. And I think those flamboyant shots that you see of Maxwell. I mean, some of those ludicrous shots, like those reverse sweeps and all, and
Mm.
those were amazing to watch. And if Harshal can keep his consistency going, I think he'll be a good. He'll do very well this season in the IPL as well. Because he's got
Yeah.
good.
Yeah.
And
But I think,
Jameson,
yeah. Okay.
he's bounced. He's always going to be a threat. Because I mean, a guy that's 6'4", I mean, always going to be a threat on those wickets, man. I mean, bounce is bounce, pace is pace. I mean, if you can give me pace and bounce, you're going to be a threat. So, yeah, those were actually two good signings for RCB. And we'll probably see Finch maybe play in an upcoming games. But yeah, for now, I think they just got to keep things simple. And I think bowling first is actually a good option for RCB going forward in this tournament.
Yeah, I think Maxwell is gonna be probably performing better this year because I think there'll be less pressure on him. Yeah, no. I think he'll perform better because there was an article saying that because the pressure is normally on AB and Kohli, he'll won't have the extra burden on his head. Even though the price tag will be a pressure on him on his own, but I think he'll probably perform better this year based on the fact that there won't be so much reliance on him. Normally, when he's been with other sides have expected too much from him. So I think this year will be much better for him in that sense.
Look, Sid, I mean, if you say that Maxwell is obviously going to perform this season and there's less pressure on him, I think if he performs and he's the X factor player in this RCB side this season, I think that makes Kohli and AB much more dangerous as well because they can build in innings and they can play a little bit more freely as well because
yeah, but generally the pressure on those two mainly. That's why I said that because the pressure will be less on Maxwell, I think he'll perform well on that basis. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, but I mean, if he can take the pressure off AB,
of course,
I mean,
that would be ideal. Yeah,
it's not always that AB needs to come and finish off a game.
Yeah, of course.
I mean, it's going to be a certain game where Maxwell can obviously be, promoted up the order and actually try and finish a game off for RCB.
But yeah, I mean, I like AB where he is at number 4. I think some other expert were talking about him coming up the order, but I think he prefers being at number 4, and I prefer him at number 4 because you're always going to get these middle order collapses in IPL cricket, where you're going to get a good spell of bowling where there's going to be 2 or 3 wickets down. So I think AB brings that calmness to the dressing room when he's there, and when AB is the crease, I mean RCB are always the favorites to win in any situation.
Okay, so on that note, let's get to today's matches. Sorry. It's Chennai versus Daredevils. They're playing in Mumbai, and I feel that it's. Did I say Chennai versus Daredevils? Yes. My favorite today will be Daredevils.
Yeah, Delhi Capitals.
Yeah, Delhi Capitals. Yeah, I feel the Daredevils are the favorites, and I tell you why. The pitch in Mumbai is going to be a bit more for the batters in the sense that Daredevils have better bowlers, I think. Although Rabada and Nokia aren't playing, so maybe that could help Chennai a bit. But I feel that... sorry?
I've got a different spin on this game today because I feel Delhi are actually a bit of underdogs. Because... yeah, they're missing Shreyas. Shreyas is not going to play because I think he's gone for an operation. So that's a big hole in batting. But I'm sure Pant will do his best, and
and Pant is in great form. And Pant is in great form. So
I think
and he's also captaining for the first time, so that should be fun actually.
That should be fun. But I think where they actually going to be falling a bit short is that bowling because the 2 Tokyo speedsters are not going to be there. Rabada and Nokia. So I was looking at this game, and if those two played, I would obviously put Delhi as favorites. But I think this by Nokia and Rabada not playing, I think that's just level the playing field here a bit and just swung it a little bit in CSK's favor. Not to say that you can't write off Delhi at all because I mean they've got Dhawan, they've got Pant.
Hmm.
They've got they've got phenomenal hitters there. They've got phenomenal hitters. So
Yeah. I was just
I
thinking
think
maybe because of the venue itself. Yeah.
yeah, I would say Delhi would probably wanna chase a score. That would probably be a better thing for them to do is chase a score down as
Hmm.
opposed to setting a score because I think they're going to be a bit short in terms of the bowling department. So I think it's better if they actually chase the score down because they've got firepower. Oh yeah, and Rahane as well. So yeah, they've got quite a few competent players there in that middle order. But Aya is obviously a very big hole there as well as being the captain as well and coming at number 3. So that void needs to be filled for DC. So I think the best chance is actually chasing. Definitely, I think the best chance is actually chasing. Putting CSK in and restricting CSK and chasing that score down. So I think that would be the plan.
Yeah, I was actually just trying to look at the likely XG on ESPN, and if you look at the Daredevil, they got Prithvi Shaw, Shikhar, Steven Smith, Rishabh Pant, Stoinis, Shimron, Wokes, Ashwin, Umesh, Mishra, and then Ishant. And then if I look at Chennai, they got Moin Ali, Faf, Suresh, Ambati Raidu, Dhoni, Jadeja, Karan, Dwayne Bravo, Gautam, Thakur. Well, now that I look at the two teams now, I think maybe you might have a point on who could be the favorites because the bowling looks a little light here on the Daredevil side. Okay, fine. Some of the bowlers aren't bad, but I think if you're looking at the captaincy, right, of Dhoni, I think he'll have that special factor there. And I think Rishabh's captain for the first time, so I think nerves are going to play a part. So even though I did think Daredevil were favorites at the time, I'm thinking I would still want to. Maybe they'll probably edge it. I don't think it's going to be as direct as I thought.
Well, I mean, looking at both batting lineups, I would say DC probably have a better batting lineup. So
Okay.
I would say their plan to actually get a win in this game here, which is a very important game for them as well. Let's not hide from the
Mm.
fact. Every
And
team
then
wants to start
also,
well in the IPL. That's the tone.
Chennai will
It's
want
a
to make up for
tone.
last season. So yeah, it might
Absolutely.
be. Yeah.
I would think their best way of getting a win here is
Restricting CSK and then chasing down whatever score they obviously make. So and they've done well
You.
chasing it.
Oh, okay.
They've done well
Oh
chasing it.
no. Yeah.
So
No, I was saying that Chennai needs to. I think this is Chennai's chance to make a play today because of the fact that Daredevils don't have the best bowlers, and also they need to make up for last season. So I think in that case, I didn't actually think about it too deeply in terms of who will win. But I think, yeah, if Chennai win, it won't really be much of a surprise. But I think if Daredevils win, it also wouldn't surprise me. I mean, two very good
absolutely,
sides. Yeah.
absolutely, two evenly matched sides. I mean, you really can't call this one. But I
I'll
think if
say
Delhi
Daredevils
chasing,
just because of the venue. I just think it'll suit their kind of style of play, Daredevils. But then who would you pick?
I'd go for DC as well. I'd go for DC
Okay.
as well, just based on their batting lineup. I think there's a lot of
Okay.
experience there in that batting lineup, so
Okay.
that would definitely help them. Yeah.
Okay, and on the final note, let's talk about tomorrow's match between Sunrisers and my team, KKR, and they're playing in Chennai. Whew, this is one venue I just don't like too much. But I would love to. I think Sunrisers are the favorites for this, just purely on the venue itself. If they were playing in a venue like Mumbai, I would have said KKR any day of the week. But I think this venue is so tricky. I mean, Sunrisers have good spinners and they'll be suited to this Chennai track. KKR, I mean, normally people would say they are favorites most of the time against Sunrisers, but I think this is Sunrisers want to win tomorrow.
Look, I think the one issue that KKR has had, last season and the season before has been their batting lineup. I think their batting hasn't really ticked. So it's a bit strange to say this, but I think last season they left it a bit too late as well. They managed to get those wins towards the end, but they left it far too late. So they started the season off very, very poorly last season. KKR, they were very far out from making the playoffs, and it turned out
Yeah.
to be in the end that they left it too late. So I think it's very important for KKR to actually start off well because, I mean, they want to put that poor season last season behind them. But Sunrisers, the one thing about this side, they don't really have a plethora of stars, but what they do have is good work ethic, and they've got a captain that leads from the front in Warner, and they've got an ace spinner in Rashid. So yeah, I mean, wow, this is a close one, eh? But I'm not sure about the confidence of this KKR side at the moment. That's the one thing I'm a bit concerned about, is the confidence, because the confidence was a bit low. It really the confidence was a bit low last season as well.
I think they missed out on net run rate. They missed out on net run rate last year, so I don't think the confidence can be that bad. It was just a few things here or there would have put them through. So I think if they can win in this venue, Chennai, which is a bit of a weird venue, I think it'll be a good confidence booster for them.
Yeah, of course. I mean, there were quite a few games last season where they were absolutely thrashed. Like really, really thrashed. So
by your team last year.
Yeah, I think there were a few from Mumbai as well. So yeah, not very good memories for KKR. But I think KKR strength is batting first. When they obviously when they bat first, they seem to do well in defending scores. So yeah, I think their best chance is probably batting first and getting a score of around. I'm not going to say over 200, which is the first game. So. It's good.
And also it's Chennai. You can't make 200 in Chennai. We have lemon miracle. Even if they could make 160, it'd be a good score on that pitch.
Look, if they get 170, 180, I think it's going to be difficult for Sunrise to take that down. So, yeah.
But Sunrise have a decent bowling attack, so let's be realistic. Make 160. I think even with Sunrise batting, I think if kicker bowl well, I think it'll be a good match.
Yeah, but that's my concern now. I think KKR's bowling as well hasn't been up to standard in a lot of games. They've got to get it right.
I can see you on the fence, man. I can see you on the fence there. You haven't. Oh yes, Cummins. Oh yes, I like Cummins. Yeah.
Yeah, but he's got to show his mettle now in the IPL. I think he had a very quiet season last season. Didn't really show what he's really made of. The bowler that we've come to. Yeah, he didn't have a very good season last season, so I think he'd want to change it this season. He'd want to start from the get cracking from the first game. But support bowlers are concerned, and I mean, let's hope maybe Russell can really do something tomorrow as well, eh?
Oh yes, Russell, I forgot about him. But it'll be difficult for him because the pitch is here. I mean, especially in Chennai, I don't know if it'll suit his game, but well, you never know. I mean, he might surprise. But then you haven't still picked a winner. You're kind of on the fence.
I guess we always talk about pitches, but when it comes to a pure hitter, I mean, he's a pure hitter, so I don't think the pitch should really concern him. I think he should just go for it. He should really just go for it.
But then,
I think KKR has got a decent batting lineup, but I think the only concern is their bowling. So if they can get that right, then they can go a long way to winning this game.
But who are you picking to win? That's the question.
My head says Sunrise, and my heart says KKR.
Interesting. So, I thought you were a fan of KKR, that you would have them in your heart.
So, yeah, man, this is a close one, man. But both teams traditionally don't start off very well, so it's going to be a scrappy game. It's going to be a scrappy game, and I think KKR might just sneak this one.
Okay.
Yeah, it's going to be a scrappy game.
I appreciate the support of my team. But actually, but my head is saying Sunrise because of the venue itself. Otherwise, I would have said KKR any day of the week. But I guess it is what it is, Can't. Man. It makes for interesting viewing, that's for sure. It makes for interesting viewing, that's for sure. Yeah, it'd be nice if KKR wins. Makes up for yesterday's disappointment because I really thought Mumbai were going to pull it off, but that's okay. I mean, as people say, they start off so badly. I mean, they have to follow tradition. Start off crap and win the tournament. If not KKR, then Mumbai. But anyway, that's
KKR.
yeah.
KKR is probably the most unpredictable team in the IPL. I mean,
Oh,
they can blow any game of the any day of the week. So
You really can't underestimate a side like KKR. If you want to beat KKR, you gotta be at your best. You cannot underestimate a team like KKR because I mean they can do some crazy things. I mean they can knock down a score of 180, 190. So I think if you play to your potential, they are a side you can beat, but they are not a side to be taken lightly because of their unpredictability.
yeah.
Yes. So that's my closing comment.
Okay. Okay, as usual, great catching up with you, and we shall catch up again next week, Saturday, with our thoughts.
absolutely. Chat to you soon. Cheers.
Yeah, man.